one of the biggest problems that coaches face is that they want to deliver results for the clients, and they want to maybe do one-to-one coaching or group coaching or answer as many questions as they can for the client. But the problem with this is that they can't scale, because if they're giving their one-on-one time to a client, they cannot scale infinitely.
Welcome back to the List Building Lifestyle. I'm your host, Igor Kheifets. And today, once again, we're going to talk about AI. Today with me, I've got Elric Ong, who runs one of the biggest Facebook marketing communities in Singapore with over 1,800 paid clients. And Elric has been recently diving deep into AI, and specifically, he's been developing software and protocols to use AI in marketing, coaching, branding, and more. In fact, one thing he's been working on that's particularly interesting that we're going to discuss in this episode today is where the next evolution, in my opinion, for the coaching industry, for the self-development industry, and that is putting the coach in your pocket, so to speak. We'll cover that more in this episode. So, Elric, thank you so much for doing this. I know it's probably late over there, almost midnight over where you are.
Thank you, Igor, for having me on the show. Yes, it's like 11:30 p.m. right now over here in Singapore.
Yep. So again, appreciate you taking the time. So I know you've been working on some really cool stuff with AI, and you're one of the first few people who approached me, and you were like, we can turn you into we can create an AI version of you. So if you wanted to coach people, etc., like they can actually get coaching from an AI, from like an Igor robot, you know what I mean? And that's actually a pretty cool idea. And I think the coaching industry is going to be changing quite rapidly in the coming months and years, where more and more people will be utilizing this concept. I think just last week, John Assaraf, his team hit me up and they were like, hey, do you want to check out this new thing where we're gonna have an app that's basically knows everything that John knows, and it's kind of like having John in your pocket. So where do you see the industry going? Like what are you observing as far as AI and how AI is shaping marketing right now?
So I'm a coach myself, right? I've been teaching about marketing, branding, and sales since 2018. It's been about 5 years now, and And one thing I specialize in right now is building AI apps, like AI softwares, AI bots, etc. So one of the biggest problems that coaches face is that they want to deliver results for the clients, and they want to maybe do one-to-one coaching or group coaching or answer as many questions as they can for the client. But the problem with this is that they can't scale, because if they're giving their one-on-one time to a client, they cannot scale infinitely. And AI has really solved this problem with the advance of AI. What I can do is I can upload all the content of a coach. So all his courses, all his notes, all his books, everything, okay? And he will have his knowledge and his tone of speaking, his personality, etc. I can upload up to 6 million characters of data into the AI. And so anytime anyone has any questions, it will be able to answer the questions specifically based on a specific data set. Now, this is going to be very different from ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is like a general, like it has data from everywhere, right? So there's a lot of junk data as well, and there's also incorrect data. Whereas when we use an AI that is trained on a specific data set, it can answer any questions that they have about that specific topic. Yeah. So it's really cool. I launched my own AI, so it's like an artificial intelligence of myself called Elric.ai. And I was quite surprised. I expected to have to do like maybe a few $1,000s in sales, or like just to sell a few. Or I thought people wouldn't even use it for free because there's ChatGPT and so many other AI softwares. But on the first 2 weeks of launch, I sold the AI for $500 per person, and we sold about 40 people, so about $20,000 in sales in the first 2 weeks of launch. So I was pretty shocked, and I realized that, hey, this is something that the market really wants. And I guess one of the main reasons why people wanted to pay for it was because they would have paid me like thousands of dollars for coaching. And now they get to assess the artificial intelligence of myself. So it's like they are getting the same amount of value for a much cheaper price. And there's actually a Snapchat model who created an AI version of himself. And she made over like $200,000 in a month or something just by flirting with her clients using AI. Yeah,
Interesting. So the app you created is used primarily for coaching someone.
correct. So the one that
And
I
so
created is
it's
specifically
coaching
for,
by chatting with them.
yes. So the one I created is specifically for coaching people on marketing, branding, and sales. I've created other AIs for other coaches as well. For example, I have a tutor AI, so it can give people tuition. For example, it can teach them English, math, science, and Chinese. Okay, and it can speak in hundreds of different languages. I created a parenting AI that teaches people how to become better parents. And then the AI is going to role play a naughty kid and also role play a good kid. And then like the person is going to interact with the role player version, right? And then the parenting coach will teach you like, okay, you should have said this instead. You shouldn't have lost your temper over here. This is what you should have done instead. So it's a parenting coach AI. I also built a relationship AI. So for example, let's say when boyfriend and girlfriend they start arguing, right? And they don't know how to solve their problem. So they'll ask the AI for objective advice on who's right or who's wrong. And the relationship AI will also give tips like, hey, where should y'all go for the date and all that. And you'll be surprised, like actually, like AIs are better at relationships, like can be better at relationships than human beings can because you see so many, like divorce is like 50% in America. So I have a relationship AI as well. I also have a health AI. So my mom runs a health and wellness company called Energia, and I built a AI called Doctor Energia AI. It can answer any questions about health, and it can even answer like specific questions that are even, for example, let's say in Singapore we have this dish called bak chor mee, right? Which most likely ChatGPT doesn't know what this is, right? But the AI was able to say, okay, bak chor mee has this amount of calories, this is the ingredients that it has, etc. It is good for health, it take in moderation, this kind of stuff. And the health AI that I built for my mom, it will recommend her products and services to the customer. And there was actually a customer that bought a few $1,000 product just from talking to the AI. And you'll be surprised because this will be the future. For example, for me, okay, deciding whether I wanted to get married, I had to bounce the decision with the AI. So imagine if, let's say, I could make such a big decision based on AI. People are going to make all kinds of decisions based on AI. They're going to choose what property they buy because of AI. Like I would rather trust an AI than I trust a human, right? So I built so that's a health AI. Then I built a sales AI, so you can sell automatically. So I program it with my script, okay, because I've been selling for thousands of appointments already. I have a specific way on how I sell, and I input the product knowledge, etc. And also I use the AI technology to sell products and services automatically, handles all the objections perfectly. Yeah. So these are just some of the different AIs that I've built. I went to Silicon Valley back in 2021, 2 years ago. Met up with like billionaire venture capitalists, Tim Draper. I went to Draper University. I also went to Israel the beginning of this year to network with the tech people over there. Yeah, so I'm glad at how AI has evolved so much. And right now it's just the beginning stages. Like it's not even super good. As in it's not even like super evolved, but it's way better than like it's so amazing what AI can do, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. Out of the examples you shared, I don't think it applies perfectly to all areas, but when it comes to offering customer support, when it comes to interacting with the customer, I like that. I like the application, and we're actually working on something like that for ourselves as well. I mean, at this point, anyone can create something like that with very little technical knowledge. There's services, I forget what the service is called, but you can basically kind of create something like that now very quickly by uploading your own data. I also would like to see these smart chatbots become a little bit more humane in a sense that they'll be able to maybe, if you can pre-program your voice and then have them not only send text but also voice messages in your voice. I think that would be very cool, and I've seen this done by people. I've seen somebody created a chatbot of their dead father, and somehow managed to communicate with their father, with the father's voice and everything. I don't know, maybe it requires a bit more advanced knowledge. As far as relationships, and parenting, yeah, like for example, if a couple is using a smart chatbot to find out who's right in an argument, I can assure you that's a good way to ruin a relationship. In fact, if you want to get divorced, that's how you get there. You just keep reminding the spouse that you were right, or they keep reminding you that they were right. And as far as parenting, as a parent, I see lots of great applications for parenting with ChatGPT alone. For example, storytelling. I use ChatGPT to create a comic book for my kids. I actually already have it produced here. It's called, so this entire comic book, it's called The Battle of the iPad: Quest for Justice. Basically, my daughter and my son are fighting it out for the iPad, and then my son frames my daughter. So you see, so you see all these panels and all this dialogue. It was all created by ChatGPT. Now I
Wow.
had to get an artist to actually get the images and everything else, but I did save a good $1,200 to $1,500 by not having to hire a writer to do the
Mm-hmm.
story, as well as saved myself a lot of time to having to come up with an outline. But the ChatGPT was really instrumental in that production, and as well as when it came down to, okay, we now have to figure out what's going to be on the cover image, what's going to be on the back of the comic book, how are we going to call it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.